Good morning, afternoon or evening, and welcome to another 0AD Alpha 23 replay commentary analysis. This week is again between myself, rated 1374, playing as the Ptolemies, and my opponent is Avinash. He's rated at 1405, playing as the Gauls. So it's going to be a relatively even matchup based on our ratings, and the two factions really support fast development. It's also going to be a good example of aggressive rushing on one side, with some turtling on the other, with the hope of defending solidly, building a secure, strong economy, and in Phase 3, having all those resources for a big spending spree on superior siege firepower to win the day. So how did it go? Let's find out. So we joined the game here, we're just a few seconds in, and you can see I am in the north, in the purple, as the Ptolemies. I'm just going to follow my standard build order, so we'll focus mostly on my opponent, but I'll just take you quickly through what the build order for me is. So I order 6 women, as you might expect, get the original 4 women to build a farmstead, then I'll get the berry upgrade, and I'll send my other 6 women to collect food as well. Now, because the Ptolemies don't need any wood for their houses, it means we don't need to collect wood early on, so I'm going to focus really heavily on food. And I've just got my soldiers building houses, but once they've built a few, and I'll also send my next few women after the first 10, which are getting the wood in small groups. I'll send them to build that, so I'll have sort of 3 people building a house. And in doing so, hopefully I'll build up my population pretty quickly. Although my opponent is playing as the Gauls, so there's every chance that he will be as quick in terms of development as I am, because he's got the advantage of every building giving population bonus. So he's gone for 6 women originally as well, and he's sent them off to cut wood. He's got the berry upgrade, and he's got no other upgrades at this point. But that's his starting point. He's got his cavalrymen, as you'd expect, collecting the chickens. So as we are, I've got a 1-person advantage, but that's it. So let's just go and have another quick look and see how this is panning out. So you can see now my soldiers have built their second house, and they are now going to go and build this storehouse and then start chopping wood. I've got these 3 women here building houses, these 3 building houses. The berry upgrade's complete. I've got 10 women and a camel collecting food. There is some additional food out here, which I will get the camel after at some point, and there's also some towards the front here, so I'll need to look at that as well. He's started producing soldiers quite early on. He built the first house, but soldiers do take a lot longer to produce than female citizens. Let's just find out how much longer. 8 seconds, 10 seconds. So yeah, pretty a quarter longer. Or if you're so inclined to look at the other way around, and I appreciate how unpartridge this sounds, 20% quicker. So for those of you that understand maths, that is correct. And if anyone just wants to comment, like, oh, it's a quarter bigger, surely it's a quarter smaller. No, it's not. Look it up, Google it or something. Anyway, he's got just the 4... 2 additional soldiers. The rest of his people, he's got 7 people on the food, and he's going to get 4 cavalry here. And the cavalry have run off in the wrong direction. So he's going to need to get his cavalry collecting food. So if we look at it from his point of view, he doesn't actually know there is any food, additional food at this point. There's a couple of sheep over there, but that's it. You'll notice as well, all of the mineral resources are really, he's done superbly well. Got very lucky with the amount of mineral resources compared to what I have around my base. I've got 1 additional stone, and the rest of it is all in the middle. So he's found these deer, but he's stopped attacking those, and I think we're going to see the first rush of the game. So let's look at it from my perspective. I've still at this point not really... I've built a few camels who are out collecting food, but other than that it's just women. So there's one skirmisher here, and I've noticed that they're coming in because of that, just trying to get everyone back in the civic centre to safety as quickly as possible. That will mean that the civic centre will start attacking, and my camels are now coming and getting involved, and they're starting to attack. He's only got 5 cavalrymen, so he's really halted my development briefly, but the important thing for him is to make sure that he's been still developing while that's been going on, and he looks like he has been, so that's good play. I'm hoping to take one or more of these, and now my camels will run away. He's given up on that exchange, it's not worth his while. And I can hopefully get this barracks finished, and in doing so will enable me to get start producing some soldiers, which I'm going to need. As soon as someone rushes you once, you've got to assume they're going to do it again. So all of these 17 women are out here to collect wood again, right next to the thing. I didn't actually notice there's this small collection of trees behind me. They would have been the safer ones to go for to begin with. But I've got another set of trees over here. So the key thing now is to start producing as many soldiers as possible, because he's only 8 behind in population now. Although he's lucked out in terms of getting so much in the way of minerals, he's not actually got a huge amount of wood nearby. So I guess it kind of evens out in that perspective. So you can see he's having to get his soldiers collecting wood here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. Yeah, 5 fields. He's got 25 women. He's only got 21 women on them, and his 5 cavalrymen are inside there, presumably healing up. But he's starting to produce some skirmishers. Here's his cavalrymen as well. So now it's going to be a case of, is he coming for another attack, or is he just going to go and get some food? I don't know at this point, but I've started to produce soldiers, albeit I still don't have a huge amount of them. And the problem is that I am short of wood. Although there you go, I'm producing women to make up that shortfall. So this group now with 5 skirmishers and 3 spearmen is probably sufficient to protect those women from any kind of small attacks he does. This group less so, and so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I suppose I think that the camels actually will offer additional support, but you'll notice that it's this part which is where he attacked before that I am reinforcing, which means I just feel this side's a little bit open. It might have been nice if I've got I've got the wood at the moment to maybe build one of those small towers. Didn't do that though, and that's well, not the best idea. So he's out now. He's built his first barracks. He's 20 behind in population, but he is actually sending a group of 10 skirmishers, and he hasn't actually deposited the wood first. That's a bit of a pet peeve of mine. This small group have tried to attack the horse's back. He's got now a group of people. Women are actually coming out and getting involved. That's unnecessary. They're just going to die. So hopefully, that's really not sufficient. The best thing is just to get these guys to safety. And again, that's the primary thing that I've just got to do, as I say, just so they get them to safety. Don't worry about it. This side is completely relaxed, so I don't need to worry too much. I'll bring the soldiers over and keep the women who are safe collecting as much in the way of resources as possible. Just spawned 5 spearmen that were going to go and collect stone. They are now going to start to get involved in the fight. We should be able to see these guys off relatively comfortably, and he's backing off, which is quite sensible. Again, his cavalry are nearly dead. He's got these 3 guys that are nearly dead as well. But while that's been going on, he has been reinforcing, so he's got a reasonable amount of people there collecting wood. But you can see his wood is now way behind where mine is, although I need to actually start getting some food together. I've only got the 1 field, and it's actually food. If we look from my perspective, you can just see it there. I've only got 40. Also got one of my camels got a little bit excited and has decided to just run and die. Taking on everyone on his own wasn't the best of ideas there. So I'm a little bit slow to react to the fact that I haven't got any food, because if we look behind, you can see all these women. So I've got 32 of them that could be making fields. I finally realised that they should be making fields, and so there's going to be a load of fields made now. And that will hopefully lead to me being able to get some food income going. I've still got to get the upgrades. I don't have any metal, and the problem that I've got, which could have been resolved with slightly better resource management, is if I had the Ptolemies, these guys, these mercenary skirmishers, actually only cost 25 food, so they would be ideal now, but they also cost 25 metal. So what I really need is to be focusing on metal, not having this huge amount of guys collecting wood, which is the one resource that I have in huge abundance. I mean, I'm rectifying it in some ways in that I'm getting people collecting metal and creating fields as quickly as possible. I mean, if we look here, there's now going to be 37 women on 7 fields, and with 3 that were making houses, that makes 40. So that's enough for 8 fields. So they will be getting, hopefully we should start to see like a really quick improvement or enhancement in that. I've just noticed there's some sheep back here that would have been far better for my camels to be using for food. Could also, thinking about it, have built some corrals to try and get some quick food. And as you can see as well, decided to protect this tree line. It's a little bit understaffed compared to this one, so they're less able to defend themselves, and therefore having this tower there will be useful. Let's have a look at my opponent, see how he's been developing, because he's 13 troops behind. He's really struggling, it seems, to get good tree lines that are lasting a reasonable amount of time. There's one here which is a good thing. He's got 2 women though building this barracks. Could do with a bit more. I mean, I like this barracks location. It's excellent. It will expand the territory to cover this wood and also take in this metal. So it's a really good location in that perspective, and also it allows him to build or train soldiers right next to that particular these resources, so he can get to them much more easily. Out here, he's still got those same groups of soldiers, and he's producing. I think his batches are about 5. He's gone for 10 women there. He's waiting, I think, until he has sufficient wood to make a larger number. Yeah, he's gone for 2 skirmishers only, and here he's gone for another 2 from there. So it makes sense. It's quicker to get 2 groups of 2 from 2 barracks than it is to get 1 group of 4 from 1 barracks. But we're both still at phase 1, and now populations. Avinash has actually caught up. So his initial raiding has led to him being able to keep up with my my population. So he managed to do that. So he's now actually ahead of me by 2, but it has meant that he's still at phase 1, whereas I'm at phase 2. So let's have a look at these groups of these 17 spearmen here. And I'm sending everyone on now to stone because I need to build another barracks. So all of these guys that were collecting wood here are being sent to stone, and he's now collecting up his troops. We've got 26 of them, which is a pretty good number. Although you'll notice that they are, that's not exactly. These guys have only got 50 health, whereas I've got 120 because of the fact that I've progressed to phase 2 and he hasn't, so I get the bonus. He's attempting. He's noticed my tower. Let's have a look from his perspective. Yeah, he's noticed the tower and he's getting into formation. He decided to take over the tower, and I've decided to let him. No, my troops have finally decided that isn't a good idea, and so I'm also bringing some skirmishes to take them from behind. So they'll just they're just going to make sure they're attacked from both angles, which is going to be helpful. And I've got my people gathering minerals as quickly as possible. So he's slightly ahead in population, but this fight, and he's also been good at continuing to build. You see that his numbers been going up, so he's been training soldiers diligently while this battle's going on. I've not got anyone coming from the civic centre at the moment. And my troops are finally looking like they may well be able to repel this attack. it's taken a while. There's another group, and he's been quite smart. You can see these the sort of like ears, the two parts of the extremities of his territory. He's got a large group of skirmishers here, and he's got a smaller group here, and he's trying to expand out to get to this wood line just over here. He's building skirmishers in large amounts, and if he can get to that wood line, that would be excellent for him. Has he got the upgrades? He hasn't got the second upgrade because he's only just got to phase 2, but he has a slight population advantage, albeit I've got massive stone and metal advantages. So once I get my towers, which are in the process of upgrading, this one's just about to go. So now I've got 2 defense towers. What I just need now is a market and one other phase 2 building. I usually would make the market my first building. I didn't in this instance because I just wanted to get those towers upgraded because it's a quick way to get through, but I really need the market as soon as possible. These guys have come back, which is very silly because they were on the cusp of death and they're just going to die. But they did take one of my troops with them, so I suppose in that sense it was there, and he's used that as a distraction because over here he's got a group of 24 skirmishers that are coming, and I just need to get these guys to safety. So they do that. The women who are in the furthest most extreme outer limits of my territory have all been put into the civic centre. The civic centre is now attacking them, so we can see they've got arrows coming from the civic centre. They're also being attacked by all of the people that were gathering the minerals, so the metal and the stone. And now they've let these guys go on a bit of a run. And these are just back to doing what they do. So just deposited all the stuff. Getting 10 slingers to come from here. I now have a second barracks. And I want to start producing from that as soon as possible, but I'm not actually doing anything at the moment. So he's just gathering up his troops. He only lost 2 skirmishers there. These guys are starting to get a little bit left out. They're running out of wood, and he's going to try and come back in, but I've got a defense tower now and a large group of troops. I've got 47. I mean, these guys should make light work of this. Probably could do with leaving the 3 women that are also involved in the attack, particularly as they've decided to go to the front. They're very brave, but foolish, because that's going to cost them. So yeah, his troops will be dead in no time, and I hardly lost anyone there. I lost quite a lot of the spearmen actually. So he took about 10 spearmen out, but lost 24 skirmishers for that. And I'm now, because I've been producing slingers in large amounts, I've got 10 over here, and I've got 6 here, and if I look, another 7 there. So I've been producing a lot of slingers. That's used up a lot of my stone. What I really need is now, as I've also as I've moved to a new tree line, I thought, well, I'll just put a tower up. There's no point in waiting for him to attack me again. So this will be my 4th. That 4th tower does mean that I can move to the next phase. Only problem is I don't have remotely enough stone. And I think I've got all of the upgrades. I do have all the upgrades for getting stone, and I've got a large number of people. I could do a handful more actually collecting stone, but the quicker way is just to build a market and trade for it. So you can see started producing. Well, actually I need to produce a house, and the other thing is I'm going to get the home garden upgrade, which will also use a little bit of stone, and I sent off people, a large group of people making more houses. And once these guys have built the market, I'll further get them producing houses as well, because I really need to get that population. We'll see that he's at 140 out of 140. I'm at 150, and I'm maxed out. Still haven't clicked that home garden thing. this is pretty poor play from my part to say. I've got this group of like 8 women, and they're building one house at a time. They should have been split up. I need to get bigger groups of people building houses, and that's what I started doing. As you can see, that will hopefully deal with my accommodation crisis quite quickly. It's got a lot of skirmishers here. It's gone for another. It's got mostly women back there. Its population is at 150. You can see I've just bartered a load of stone. He's at 150. I'm at 160. But I am on the cusp of phase 3. He still needs to build 3 more buildings and collect loads of minerals, and he doesn't have any minerals at the moment. So I should be going to phase 3 very shortly, and in fact I'm going to phase 3 as we speak. I've also got the upgrade now, so I'm up to 200 population, which is giving me some spare capacity, and I've just left small groups of people building houses, so I'm just going to build as many as I can, and try and get as many soldiers out there. And as you can see from my resources, I've got food and wood, but I'm trying to keep the stone and metal back because I want to build a fortress, which is going to cost a lot of stone, and then I'm going to want to produce some siege weapons, which are going to cost a combination of stone, metal and wood, so retaining that. Plus I also could do with the metal for upgrades, and at this point I don't think I've built an upgrade. So here comes the fortress, and he's attacking. Sorry, just nearly missed that. So he's got a large group of soldiers here against a far smaller group, but they are all phase 2, whereas I've got a tiny health advantage being at phase 3. But I've also got my tower putting more a lot of arrows at them, and I am producing additional groups of soldiers to try and fight them, and we've done really well, and at that point I just think, yeah, I'll go and garrison the tower and garrison the fortress, garrison the barracks to make sure that they don't take it over. You can see his attackers have gone home with their tails between their legs. But here, this fortress is going to be a game changer. He's still at phase 2, so what I need is to get these guys producing. So I built this temple here. It's not a brilliant location. I prefer it closer to the front line, possibly around, well, here. But I did that because there's a lot of people that are not very well here, so get them healed up, and plus he might think that's a source of that's an area of weakness. So still got I've decided to get the upgrade now to produce troops far more quickly, and I've got another barracks and then a storehouse. And if we look around my civic centre, you can see the women are all nicely farming. We've got a few people off gathering wood over here. We've got another group gathering wood there, which is pretty decent. Running out of metal, running out of stone, but still collecting it. And I've got a few people that are walking crazy distances collecting resources, but it's nothing too awful at this point. He's just gone slightly ahead in population, so I need to be getting these guys, and I am building large groups of soldiers, and I've got my first 2 siege weapons. So we've got a pair of catapults. This one unfortunately is stuck. I don't know why, but it's just not gonna. We're just gonna walk on the spot for whatever reason. And I've realised because my resources are running out, I'm getting them to collect a load more stone. The reason I'm prioritising stone is because stone is used in catapults, and it's also used in slingers, and they're going to be my main 2 groups of soldiers as I go forward. Also managed to get Ptolemy the Saviour. He's useful because, well, he's not camel, I don't know what they call it, elephant. I don't know why I thought camel there. He's got a large group of soldiers here, but actually a lot of them are winning. And he's also got a lot of soldiers being attacked here. And the problem with this catapult is unfortunately too far away. It should be attacking these guys here, but he's going to struggle because I've got my siege weapons. He's really lost a lot of soldiers here. What is the range on it? So yeah, the siege is just going to keep on pummeling these skirmishes and slingers. I'm finally bringing my soldiers over from elsewhere, and there's a lot of them. So this shouldn't last too much longer as a battle. He's now sending in some cavalry. You can see he's got... How many barracks does he have? I think he's only got the one. So he's trying to send his cavalry in to destroy my catapults. This catapult's finally getting involved, but it's a bit wayward. It's just shot a load of our own troops. But as groups of soldiers go, we are... just need to finish off his small group of remaining soldiers, and I'm just getting my elephant in there. He's bringing in a large group of soldiers. You can see he's now 25-ish soldiers behind, and I've been producing some more catapults, so this one is still covering these two. Which what it should mean is that if he tries to capture these two catapults that are here, this one will bombard the attacking soldiers. Again, I'm building a defence tower as well to offer me additional protection to my catapults. And that he's only got. So he's got 3. Yeah, he's got 4. So he's got 4 barracks, and he's producing in groups of 7. So he's getting 28 soldiers each time, which is pretty decent. And he's getting a load of slingers now. But my advance is starting to look menacing to him, certainly. He's getting as much in the way of stone as he can, because he's going to need to produce a fortress as soon as possible, because he's going to have to try and stop me. He's gone to phase 3, and that means that he's now in a position to get a fortress and really start pushing back. So I've decided to build a blacksmith because I realised I need some upgrades, and I've got a few bolt shooters as well, which again, the bolt shooter's job is to protect the catapults. This guy is unpacking, so he's presumably going to do it. It looks like he's just starting to build a fortress. So I can see he's building a fortress that is just inside my field of vision. So these guys need to get on with destroying that, because what I can't have is him having basically access to rams. As soon as he gets rams, he can throw those at my catapults, and he can also try and get them to go round the sides if he wanted. Like a combination of rams and slingers is virtually unstoppable. So I've decided if we just look quickly, got groups of soldiers here, so some are coming to get some more metal. I've got another group of soldiers that were previously collecting metal and stone. They're now going to go and get this stone. So we should be in hopefully quite a strong position, but he's sending a large group of soldiers here. Yeah, 65 soldiers plays I don't know, 45. But at the same time he's got a ram, so I'm trying to take out his fortress, and I need to focus, see if we can get this all in shot. So we've got the 2 battles going on here. All of my soldiers have become distracted, and we're just leaving the ram. It's hopefully going to be killed by the hero. He's done that. He doesn't have the wood to produce any more rams, so if my catapults, my bolt shooters need to be a lot closer. These guys are still in trouble with this group of slingers. If the soldiers, this group of slingers are under fire from a combination of some slingers and skirmishes mine, but also the bolts, and the bolts can be pretty deadly. These guys are almost dead. There's only 5 slingers left. Can we just take them out? I'm not sure they can. This is going to go. These guys, they've managed to take out one of the catapults. Hopefully these will just shoot these guys. And now, unfortunately, there's this huge piece of rock in the way which is stopping me from getting defending my siege weapons as I would like. That's very frustrating, but carry on producing. These catapults are doing a great job taking out this. They're in, at the moment I've now got double his population, and I'm about to take out his fortress, and he doesn't have any wood, which is going to make it incredibly difficult. I don't know if he has a market. He has, because he's just done some bartering, which is important. He needed that, but the fortress is going down any second now, and with that, that's pretty much his chances are going to be gone as well. He's, I think, produced some additional barracks. He's got 4 barracks that you can see there, 5. So he was trying to get 6 barracks, but now my soldiers can just advance, and his population is down at 79. It looks like that majority of that is women. It is. I've taken over his thing, but here come his last group of slingers. I've taken. It's going to be very, very difficult. The barracks now are being taken out. The bolt throwers are firing bolts, as you might expect, and I'm doing all of this but inside the radius of the temple, which is now mine, so it's healing my soldiers, not his. And yeah, this is that's got to be game over very shortly. It's down to 40 odd people, and that's the end, and the replay is done. So yeah, so for those of you that wanted to know how I've been getting on, I've been using Ptolemies, as you can see, and that strategy that you saw there is basically my strategy that I have with Ptolemies, is to try and go through as quickly as possible. I was quite slow in this game because of the fact that I was rushed like repeatedly, but kept a relatively cool head, and I think that worked out quite well in the end. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all again in a week's time. Bye bye.